This is...
Surely, Bluey is a cartoon loved by millions of people around the world. But did you know that even this world-famous children's show has scenes and even entire episodes completely censored?
Oh, found you! Why don't you just do some exercise?
Same old reason, Bluey. You kids and work.
In the episode Born Yesterday, we see one of those scenes that were considered very inappropriate and ended up being completely banned from the Bluey show. The blue pup and her sister ask their father to push the swing as they want, but the detail is that it comes back and hits him exactly in the most sensitive spot for men. In the final version, in many countries, the scene of pain is cut, and we go straight to the next scene of the episode. I have to admit that I laughed a lot at Bandit's suffering, and I know you, like Bluey and Bingo, did too. Get ready to see now the 12 censored scenes in Bluey, and I'm warning you right away, some of them are really gross. Sometimes broadcasters censor a snippet or two of some episodes in all cartoons, but there are times when entire episodes are banned. This is the case in the episode Workouts, the 39th of the 3rd season. And honestly, the reason is very controversial. Bandit is in the bathroom and realizes that he is above the weight he considers ideal, so he grabs his belly to make it clear. Many parents complain to the broadcaster in Australia, alleging various different things, so the scene you just saw was cut.
Oh, found you! Why don't you just do some exercise?
Same old reason, Bluey. You kids and work.
But the complaints continued. And then the episode was completely banned in some countries because Bandit just wanted to do some exercises. But in all countries, the initial scene, the one you saw, was deleted. So guys, I don't know if we can say this, but if you can, eat well and exercise. It will be very good for your health. In Fruit Bat, one of the series' most classic episodes, there is also a deleted moment. It's the scene where Bluey plays penguin and wets the bathroom floor to slide with her belly. It was completely cut in the UK because it was considered a very pronounced encouragement to the risk of accidents. In other words, censors from England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland thought that many children would hurt themselves doing the same thing as Bluey, so they completely deleted the scene from the episode in those countries. I found that a bit exaggerated. What about you?
Jelly!
In the episode Driving, Bluey really wants to play with Chili, but her mom is super busy. So she decides to use Agatha, her plush cat, to convince her mom to keep playing. The detail is that Agatha, says that if Chili doesn't play, she will pee on the house curtains.
You better be back with my almond milk in 5 minutes, or so help me, I'll pee on your curtains!
The pee threat wasn't well received, so the dubbing changed the word pee to scratch in some countries and to ruin the curtains in others. This time, I won't say that was wrong. After all, what if someone decides to do it for real? It would certainly be a big problem. At least the plush kitty seems to be doing nothing wrong. And because she learned this lesson, let's comment today, #Agatha down here. I've mentioned a few times here on the channel that Buddy is one of the characters I always laugh at when I see him in Bluey episodes. So I was very surprised when I found out that at the end of the Bob Bilby episode, he was involved in a scene that was deleted from the series. Actually, it's not even a complete scene, but a snippet from the final scene of the cartoon, the one where the credits are rolling. Originally, Buddy would be picking his nose, as we can see, but in the end, he picks his nose and puts it in his mouth, eating the booger. I know, that's definitely very gross. And in the United States, it was considered so gross that this part where he puts his finger in his mouth was cut, but the rest was kept. If we stop to think, Buddy almost always has his finger in his nose. So, do you think in the episode of Bingo's birthday where he puts his hand in the yogurt several times that it was clean? I don't know about that. I just know that Chili puts the pot in the fridge afterward. Now, let's perhaps enter what might be the most controversial censorship in all of Bluey. In the family meeting episode, we have the famous trial of Bandit accused of excessive gas release. And that's exactly the focus of the episode's censorship, his excessive farting. Which is quite complicated since practically all the characters in the episode fart, and the episode ends with Chili herself letting out one of those very silent ones. It's very difficult to find this episode to watch in the United States, precisely because of this. Which is a shame, because I laughed a lot, especially when Bingo said that Bandit was the king of stinky farts.
What? Hey, Bingo, pull my finger.
Okay. Bingo, no!
Well, fair enough.
The funniest thing about this gas problem is that in the Chicken Rat episode of the first season, exactly the opposite happens because Disney asked to put a scene with gas to replace something they thought should not appear. Bandit is eating sauerkraut, which is basically pickled cabbage. At a certain point, he just sneezes when he and his wife are alone. And by Chili's face, she really found it disgusting since a little chewed sauerkraut flew onto the table. So the scene was changed to a burp, and we noticed that Chili still maintains her disapproving face. And it's understandable why. The censorship claim was not to give children the impression that a food allergy can be harmless. And in this case, I have to agree that it really isn't. Going now to the barbecue episode, we see a small modification that is not a deleted scene. When Muffin says she loves capsicum in the salad, it made perfect sense in Australia since that's what peppers are called there. The problem is that they are only known by that name there, so no one would understand anything if it were said the same way in other countries. So, in the rest of the world, the dubbing says peppers instead. Now I'm curious, why do Australians call peppers capsicum? I'm very curious about that. Another thing that makes me curious is if you're already subscribed to our channel. If not, click the button down here to subscribe. In the Daddy Put Down episode from the first season, we have one of the funniest and most embarrassing moments of the series. This is the famous scene where Bandit and Bingo are on the swing, and the youngest healer asks one of those complex and difficult to answer questions. The little puppy asks her father how babies get into their mommy's tummies. Bandit's face is definitely the best part. Seriously, I find this scene very funny, but it was cut in several countries because it was considered inappropriate. Probably the intention was to prevent children from asking their parents the same thing Bingo asked Bandit. But I have bad news. They will ask eventually anyway.
Dad,
Yeah?
how does the baby get in the lady's belly?
In the episode focused on Rusty and Jack, where they pretend to be in the army, we see a very interesting scene where the little terrier comments with his friend about his ADHD. If you still don't know, ADHD is a disorder related to a lack of attention and concentration in children and adults. So, the little dog says there's something wrong with him. To avoid creating a stigma with this problem, Disney asked for the line to be modified and the dubbing to be redone. So Jack, instead of saying he had a problem, ended up not saying he had a problem, but that something was happening to him. That's why he changed schools. Rusty cheers up his friend by saying he's very good at playing army, which is true. If I were to guess, I'd say Jack will probably join the Australian Army in the future. We all know that Bingo and Leela are best friends, so it was a bit strange not to see her in Bingo's own birthday episode, don't you think? Furthermore, we also didn't see Muffin or Socks, although we saw Stripe and Trixie. But this only happened because Disney, for some unknown reason, at least until now, ended up cutting the scene where the three characters were together watching Bluey's favorite characters, the Cat Squad. I know, it's quite ironic that dogs love cats in the Bluey universe, but that's also very funny. In the deleted scene that ended up being shown on social network X, we see the three little dogs sitting in the Healer family's living room and watching TV attentively, while we see a cat on his pink motorcycle. Now, it makes sense not to see any of the three throughout the episode, as they were summarily banned, along with the scene. Congratulations, Disney! Just kidding. In the Perfection episode, we have one of the most modified scenes in Bluey's history. We see Bandit and Fido chatting in the park while Bluey spins in the background, playing boomerang. Seriously, I'm amazed at how she manages to spin so many times without falling. Originally, the two were talking about a vasectomy, which is done when parents decide they have enough babies and want to close the factory. But apparently, Disney thought this topic was too adult for children who watch Bluey, so the dialogue was completely changed, and from that moment on, the two friends started talking about another type of surgery, tooth extraction. So Bandit says he's in doubt because he doesn't know if he should have the surgery, because one day he might need to bite someone. Honestly, I'm not sure if this second version wasn't worse than the first one. After all, it might end up encouraging children to bite instead of asking their parents what a vasectomy is. So honestly, I would have stuck with the first version. But since Disney decides that, there are even rumors that Bluey is still spinning. And honestly, I hope that Bandit keeps his teeth and that we have more babies in the next season of Bluey. What about you? Do you agree with us? We're leaving 2 very cool videos for you to check out right now if you want, because we know you like the best videos. Just click and enjoy. See you later.